Here we go.
Hello and welcome to the Ball Games Podcast, episode 9. Let's get into it. All right,
Hello.
Bruno, he's back again. Can't get
Again.
rid of him.
Jesus Christ. People
How
are
you getting
getting
on?
desperate in the UK. All good, mate. All good. Chilling. Like a villain. That's it. Nothing else.
We'll go back to what
Nothing much to do.
you just said about the UK in a minute, because I feel like you're being xenophobic straight off the bat, and I'm 100% accusing you, by the way. So let's start with the big news of the day, really.
Oof, yeah.
Football legend Diego Maradona has died at the age of 60.
El Dios.
He apparently suffered a heart attack in his Buenos Aires home. He had a successful
It,
surgery on a brain blood clot earlier in November, and he was
mhm.
about to start treatment for alcohol dependency.
Only alcohol.
Yeah, it's a shame, but he's done a lot to mess himself up over the years. I know he was struggling with a drug addiction for a long time.
Yeah.
But
Still
hopefully, let's hope he's remembered for the wonderful footballer
football.
that he was. He's one of the greatest ever players. Um,
Still, yeah.
won't
Definitely one of the best.
still not gonna forgive him for handballing the ball into the net. But I wasn't even born then, so I've got no real reason to be to have a massive problem with that. But yeah, R.I.P. to Diego Maradona.
The hand of God. I actually saw a meme today of God welcoming him to heaven without an arm, and he's like, "Here you go. Thank you for lending it to me."
How's he done that? There's no such thing as God.
I know, but ooh, that's a strong one.
Anyway, let's
let's
move on to some
let's
other
leave
news.
that for another podcast.
So there's been more stuff for COVID and stuff today. The government announcing budget or whatever they call it.
Today, I didn't
Yeah,
see
his
anything
budget thing.
today.
This Rishi Sunak bad end. So
Balance.
the chancellor has warned of the economic emergency caused by coronavirus, and he
Hmm.
says it's only just begun. In his spending review, that's it. He said that the pandemic would do lasting damage to the British growth and jobs. That it had triggered the largest fall in British economic output, for 300 years. He added that the UK economy is expected to shrink by 11.3% this year
Oof, that's a lot.
and not return to its pre-crisis size until the end of 2022.
But one question for you.
I've not finished. He
Jesus.
confirmed a pay freeze for most public sector workers, a cut in overseas aid, and yeah, not looking very good. There's more on this in a minute, but what was you going to say?
No, I was going to ask you something though. What do you think about that? If the economy is going down so much, how much do you think it's going to affect us now in 30 something? I don't even know how many days, 38 days, when we actually uh, confirm and do Brexit. How is that going to go? That's going to be
Mate, I wouldn't
completely
like to. I
insane.
wouldn't even like to guess. Oh fuck, this going to be.
This is going to be shit, to be honest, because now England's going to be completely alone. There's nothing.
Well, we'll see. We'll have to see what happens. Listen, they've made their bed, but we're the ones that have to lie in it, unfortunately.
That's the problem. We're
This
the
is
ones that gonna be working and living here, so we're the ones
yeah.
that fucked.
Well, here's the other outcome of this. So the number of unemployed people will surge to 2.6 million by the middle of next year, according to the government's independent forecaster, the
You're talking
Office
of
for Budget Responsibility. The
whole of
latest
the UK,
figures. What?
whole of the UK, those 2 point something million.
Oh yeah.
No, no, no. I was just thinking like it could honestly, dude, it could be
I'm
only 2 point
not
something
talking
million
about
just in London,
not talking about
because
the
London has
Falklands, mate.
enough. No, no, I'm saying just London has enough population to have 2.5 million unemployed people.
Yeah, but it's across the UK, mate. I think that's a big enough number. Is that?
No, no, I
Do
know,
you,
I
do
know.
you want a bigger one?
No, that's the problem. I don't want a bigger one.
You're not happy with that? Those are rookie numbers, are they? Get those numbers up. That's what
Look at
Bruno
America.
wants.
Look at America.
Well, look at the population difference.
I know, I'm kidding. No,
Anyway,
I was
before you
concerned.
rudely interrupted again, the latest figures show that 1.68 million people are unemployed at the moment, a number which
Jesus.
has risen more than 300,000 since last year amid the coronavirus pandemic. The last time the UK unemployment figure was as high as 2.6 million was in May to July 2012. The number exceeded 3 million from 1983 to 1987 and for a few months in early 1993.
Do you think we're ever gonna get out of this? Let's call it recession.
Oh, nowhere near as quick as they're predicting. You kidding me? End of 2022? Fuck off.
No, that's impossible. I would say 24, 25, for it to be normalized at least.
Listen, you can't blame it all on these Tory cunts, but
No, no, no. I'm
they
not blaming on
they
them.
play a large part in the fallout after the pandemic struck, and they failed a lot of people, and they will continue to fail a lot of people.
It's more or less like we spoke the other day. I think 2 days ago when we were talking about this, and they're kind of to blame for the fact that they were completely inactive in the beginning. They were not taking any measures, and they only took measures when it was already too late to do something. There
Well, this
was
is
no
the problem.
preventive.
People people voted a floppy head prick into power because he spouted the type of shite that they wanted to hear. Now that he's in power, he's failed in every aspect, as far as I'm concerned. And now a lot of these people that voted for him are like, "Yeah, big mistake. Shouldn't have done it." Well, it's tough luck.
This is going to be much worse than the economic crisis from 2008.
Well, yeah, it's already worse. Here's another sad um, outcome of coronavirus. The number of domestic abuse offences recorded by police in England and Wales have increased during the pandemic.
Not blaming it on anyone, but it's expected. When people spend too much time locked in a house, arguments are they're bound to happen. And people. No, no, no. What I'm trying to say is people don't have patience in the middle of this. People are all stressed because or they don't have jobs or
Listen,
they need to go to work.
that's fine.
There's
That's
no.
fine. It's fine not to have patience. It's fine to be pissed off because you haven't got work or
I'm not
annoyed that you
condoning it.
can't go out. The last person you should be taking out on is your spouse or your children. I
Yeah.
mean, come on. Oh, I'm pissed off that my boss sacked me. I'm going to punch my wife. Come on.
It can also be the other way around. It could be the wife
Well,
abusing
yeah,
the
of
man.
course. I was
It's
going
not
to
a.
say
It's
that in
not
a
a.
minute, but it's a fucking ridiculous thing.
No, you should be
Do
there supporting each other, not
exactly.
doing this.
I can understand getting into arguments, shouting at each other, stuff like that. But if that's leading to violence, you've got some deep seated issues that were bubbling beneath the surface
Yeah,
long before this.
yeah, definitely.
This is just an excuse to become a fucking bigger twat. But yeah, there's obviously so really good news we've started off with today. But let's go on to the next thing. So obviously the floppy head cunt, as we called him, I'm not going to dignify him by naming him, um, came out the other day talking about
Doris,
the plans for easing the lockdown and the restrictions, um, which should come into effect. Is it the 2nd of December?
next week, yeah, 2nd of December. That's when the lockdown's being lifted.
And it's not really been clear what it's going to be for which areas yet,
He said
considering we've got a
apparently.
week.
He said that apparently, that's what he said, that tomorrow we would know which areas will go into tier one, tier two, and tier three.
Well, the main thing, I think, especially for us, is whether we can go to the pub or not. I mean,
Yeah,
because like you say about the tiers, so I've got the information here. So let's talk like for pubs, for example. It's a problem for anyone working in hospitality,
mate, I
really.
assume I assume if you can have 4,000 people in a stadium, that I can actually go to a pub if
Well,
I want to.
that's another
Hopefully,
thing we'll get to in a minute. But in the tier one, pubs will be open. Pubs and other hospitality events areas will be
until
open
11.
11. Last orders at 10.
Yeah,
Tier two, they can open if they serve substantial meals. Alcohol can be served with that meal. Tier three, only hospitality venues must close, apart from
only
delivery and
takeaways.
takeaway.
Yeah,
So tier one, spectator sports can resume with a maximum crowd of 50% capacity or 4,000 spectators, whichever is smaller. Tier two can have 50% as well, or 2,000, whichever is smaller. Tier three, you can't have any. So,
makes sense.
any questions, Bruno?
No, just it makes sense then.
Any questions about concerts or anything like that?
No, concerts will be the same thing, limited to 4,000, maybe. Yeah, I think
Depending
that's
on the
what.
venue, of course.
Yeah, if we're talking about the O2, it's gonna be half of O2, so that's not 4,000, at least.
Here we go. So key differences in England's tier system. Tier 1 medium, follow the rule of 6 if meeting indoors or outdoors. We said about the pubs and restaurants. People encouraged to minimise travel and work from home. I mean, is that news? Spectator sports and live performances, limited numbers. There you go, mate.
No, but what I don't understand is why are they on a tier one? Why are they telling you to work from home as much as possible? You know, why? What's the point? You can actually go to the office. It's not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I personally would much prefer working from home already. Traveling into the office, talking to people. No, no thanks.
No, okay, there goes the socializing part now. It's never
Yeah,
coming back.
yeah, with people from work, they're work colleagues. They're not friends.
I know. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying for me, for example, it would be better to work from the office than to work from home
Why?
because I'm bored as shit at home.
Yeah, but Bruno, no one talks to you at work anyway.
Yeah, thank you. That's
You're
actually
going to be
true.
just as bored at work.
No, in the office there are some people. That's why I was saying. But okay, carrying on.
What would you talk to the people at work for about?
Honestly, it's much easier to work with the people that work with you, with your colleagues, and be in the same place to discuss everything you have to do. I prefer that than to be on a bloody Teams call or any kind of phone call for me.
I know for a fact the people that work with you much prefer being in a separate location to you.
That's because they're pricks.
I know that for a fact. You say that, but here's the rub, Bruno. They're the pricks when they're the majority who would prefer not to be around you.
Yes, they're the pricks.
I think I'll be honest with you, mate. That's why I've said let's swap this to Zoom.
To Zoom, yeah, I understand. Actually, that thought crossed my mind earlier. I'm like, he's just trying to get rid of me.
So anyway, tier 2, Bruno. Let's hope this isn't going to be our area because there's no household mixing indoors.
Jesus
So
Christ.
that orgy we were planning goes right out the
Yeah,
window.
that's gone. That's gone.
Actually, no.
By
Rule is 6 will apply outdoors, so we'll just go to the
outdoor
park.
orgy.
Go to the
Yeah.
park, mate. We need to be careful to make sure it doesn't cross into the boundaries of dogging. We want to make sure this is exclusively an orgy and nothing more. We don't want to get it out of control.
Dogging? Really?
Got to be safe, mate.
It's a thin line between both of them.
Yeah. Bruno, I've got to loop back to a story, one of the biggest stories we had
Mhm.
last week of do you remember the PC officer put carrot barcodes on his Krispy Kreme donuts?
Yeah.
There's an update.
Okay, what happened with that guy?
Boy, is it juicy. So they were Krispy Kremes. I know we speculated last week as to
Yeah,
what the brand of donut were. Confirmation now that they are Krispy Kremes.
that's very important.
Thank God. He's claiming that he made an honest mistake. What do you make of that? Before I
How
give
did
you
he
any of the details, do you
wait?
believe him?
Just my question is, how did he make an honest mistake? Did he took a barcode from a different thing by mistake
Yeah.
and put it on the box?
Let's bear in mind that these carrots were 7p.
Uh-huh.
The box of donuts was a tenner.
A tenner, yeah. Yeah,
Now,
no, it's a genuine, honest
yeah.
mistake, of course.
So he told a misconduct hearing. Do you want his name? We got his name.
Yeah, let's hear
Do you want to call
everything.
him
Let's
out?
go for it. Yeah, let's call
PC
him out.
Simon Reed from Cambridgeshire Police.
Okay.
He told a misconduct hearing he was not paying attention when he scanned a 7p barcode for carrots twice instead of the donut barcode. He denied trying to steal them. He's facing two. He's accused of breaching two professional standards of discreditable conduct and honesty and integrity. So get on to what he said.
Just a small detail there.
Mhm.
Just a small, quick detail. How the fuck can he say he wasn't paying attention? When you go to those self-service machines, you need to scan the barcode, put it there on the place. Otherwise, it doesn't even allow you to carry on. And then you have to scan the other one. And you cannot scan the same one because if you remove it from the bagging area, it doesn't allow you to scan it.
Well, Bruno, it's quite funny you say that because have a listen to this. He says that he's horrified that they're in this situation they are. He was using the self-service checkout.
Uh-huh.
He said that there was a friend of his that was on a diet, so he was buying the carrots for them. He thought it would be funny to put them in a Krispy Kreme paper bag. Uh, First of all, if that's the case, how have you scanned the carrots and not the donuts? The 10 donuts came in a box, not a
They
fucking
come in a
bag.
large box. Yeah.
That's one thing. He said he stuck the carrots barcode on the donut tray. So how's that an honest mistake then? You've just said you deliberately removed the carrots barcode and stuck it on the box for the donuts.
And that's the police we have, right?
Yeah. So next, he says he simply scanned where he believed the barcodes were and placed them down in the bagging area. He didn't check the screen. He wishes he had done.
Wow. I'm so sorry for him. I'm
Bruno,
actually
you've
feeling so
you've
sorry
used self checkouts, haven't you?
all the time.
Have you ever not looked at the screen once?
You always look at it.
You'd have to
Always.
have your eyes closed permanently, and even then, how are you navigating your way around the screen without
Yeah.
your vision?
No, but
So he's
it's
not
not even
once
that.
looked at the screen. How's he gone to pay? How's he gone to next or whatever?
Dude, that's not only that. So, majority of the times I look at the screen because it's not. It happened already once or twice that the barcode that I scan is above the price that's marked on the shelf, and you need to look at those things just in case. So you constantly looking at the screen. You cannot, even if you go to buy an energy drink, it doesn't allow you to leave without calling an assistant to confirm your age. Now
Yeah.
these
To be
fucking
fair, I don't think they've got age restrictions on Krispy Kreme donuts. Maybe they should. That may be an idea to lower the rates
obesity,
of childhood obesity. Yeah.
but it's ridiculous. So, but he still admits taking it from the carrots and putting it in the box. Cheers.
I'm just trying to get a brand deal for us, mate. Yeah, he knew what he was doing anyway. But
I
I saw that and I thought, wow, the news we've been waiting for.
what an honest police constable.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God he's in the job, the position of power he's in.
I feel very safe with him around. I'm telling you. If I noticed a crime, he would be the first person I would call.
Tell you what else I saw today. So it's been revealed that that British accents are the world's sexiest. Now, before you say anything, Bruno,
I agree.
I want to ask you something, and I want you to think about this question very carefully. Have you ever heard a British accent as a singular?
No, because well, it's
What accent
English.
do I have?
It's not an accent. It's
No.
English.
What accent do I have? English. Scotland, they have a Scottish accent. Wales, they have a Welsh accent. There's
Mhm.
no such thing as a British accent.
Okay,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
English. It's English.
It's just how it's Time Out magazine or whatever.com. This is what the world does. They encompass things or it's like British. Like you go
Yeah, for
abroad,
that
like
reason.
especially if you go to America, where I was constantly like, "Oh, you're British." No, I'm not. I'm English.
No, you're Brit.
Britain
You're
is a
Brit.
collective of countries. It's not a country.
But come on,
But
you're
I
talking.
blame half the confusion on the United Kingdom itself.
But the language it's called English. It's not called British language.
No.
It's English language.
Well, there is a Welsh language and a Scottish.
But that's different. It's a country.
But
This country.
it's the
How do you
point. The
call this
point is, there's
country?
no such thing as a British accent. There's a Scottish accent, a Welsh accent, and an English accent.
That's it. Because
Full
this
stop.
country is called England.
So everyone out
English.
there thinking, "Oh, that guy, have you heard this?" For the people that definitely aren't listening from around the world that are sat here thinking, "Oh, have you heard that guy's British accent?" It's not. Stop it. But it is sexy, so you're welcome. So fucking freak yourself off in silence.
Whoever's listening to this is not gonna shut up with this shit for the next 10 years.
I will, because next year there'll probably be a different one voted. I think last year it was France.
How the fuck is French a sexy accent?
Yeah, I bet you wish you kept yours now.
Ma baguette, ma baguette.
You wish you kept yours, didn't you?
Fuck you.
Anyway, moving on. We've got some sport news, some big fights coming up this weekend.
Yes.
Daniel Dynamite Dubois versus Joe Joyce.
Both
For, what's
undefeated,
it for?
right?
The W? Is it for the WBO or the
Uh,
British and European Commonwealth titles? Yeah, WBO.
that's an interesting one.
Who's your money on?
Dubois.
Yeah,
Even
they're
though they're
both
both
unbeaten.
undefeated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be a good fight. I think it's
Uh,
quite early on. It's obviously over
they're
here, so
yeah, it's gonna be early because of
7:30.
the
Is
other
it?
one is at 1 o'clock in the morning, so that
Yeah.
one is way before that.
The thing is, that one's the box office one is the Tyson one.
Yeah,
20 quid,
I'm
which
not
we'll get
seeing
onto
that.
in a minute. So we should say, so yeah. Then the other big fight this weekend is what is it? It's Mike Tyson against Roy Jones Jr.
It's exhibition bout.
Yeah. So some rules for it. There's going to be no knockouts allowed, no
That kind of
judges.
kills. That kind of kills it from Tyson.
I think if any of them like start bleeding, the fight stops.
So what's the point of them fighting?
Well, yeah, it's a bit of a weird question, really.
I would prefer to see a scrap in the middle of the street.
Dana White couldn't contain his amusement after being informed of the rules that will govern Mike Tyson fight.
It's so ridiculous, mate.
It's a bit silly, but I mean, to be fair, Tyson's 54, Roy Jones Jr. is 51, so you can understand it to a degree. But I mean, these fellas can
Okay,
handle it.
brother.
They're
Have you
going in. They're
watched?
going into it willingly.
Have you
Let them
watched
go for
Mike
it.
Tyson's Instagram lately? Have you
Yeah.
seen the shape of that man?
I mean, we don't know the damage that a year in boxing has done to into them internally,
Okay,
but
but
there's no knock. That's a good question from Dana White saying there's no knockouts. How are they going to knock? They're not allowed to knock each other out. How do you enforce that? Good point.
yeah,
There's
you
no
put
judges.
yourself
Next
in.
minute there'll be no referee,
Yeah.
and it'll be in a Tesco car park in fucking Ealing.
Jesus, like what was his
Yeah,
name? The guy from UFC, the backyard fights,
Kimbo Slice.
Kimbo Slice. No, but going back to Dubois, mate, they're both heavy hitters, man. So it's gonna be a tough one. But my money is still on Dubois. I would like to see him
Jones
fight
Jr.
AJ.
is backing himself, mate. Yeah, I think Dubois is going to win personally. It should be a good fight either way. Hopefully, we'll be watching it. We'll react to it next time we do a
Do you know
recording.
the time? If you checked it, the time that it's gonna happen,
No, I don't know. I thought it said
it's gonna be
maybe the
late.
prelims start at 7:30 or something like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be something like that. Okay, cool. We'll watch it during the weekend.
Yeah, hopefully we'll go and see Jay and force him to put the fight on.
But oh yeah, this
He'll probably want to watch it anyway, to be honest.
it's still yeah. Okay, no worries.
But yeah, got some more news from before we move on. So have a look at this, Bruno. The government is reportedly budgeting 30 million for a festival of Brexit.
What
They've
exactly
been
does that
ridiculed.
entitle?
Well, they're celebrating Brexit.
Who the fuck is gonna celebrate
Yeah,
Brexit? The fucking old guys that voted for
we're
it.
spending 30 million on it. Now think how many school meals and salaries, nurses' salaries you could pay with that money.
With 30 million.
Yeah, fucking ridiculous, mate. Apparently, it's the annual salary of over 1,000 NHS nurses, or a small pay rise for every single one of them.
And they're still spending it on a fucking
Yeah, we'll see
Brexit
if they actually do.
festival.
I
What are they
don't
gonna
think they
do?
will.
Live music, you know, everyone waving the flag, singing the national anthem.
They must be trolling us, mate.
I
They
don't know
must
what
be.
the fuck are they talking about because so we don't have money for anything else. We're in the middle of a pandemic. It's a problem. Everything. We need to reduce costs, and then we're gonna spend 30 million in a fucking Brexit festival.
Mm, ridiculous. This is the world we're living in at the moment, mate. Some other funny news. Rudy Giuliani, President Donald Trump's lawyer,
Yeah.
he left his direct messages open on Twitter and it's backfired.
Oh
People just
shit.
rinsing him. I saw a pretty funny one. Someone messaged him saying, "Can you give me the phone number for your hair dye guy? Really love their work." Um, Do you have any advice for someone looking to host a press conference at the Four Seasons Total Landscaping? They did. They thought they booked it and they had to do it outside that garden centre or something.
Jesus Christ.
Uh, I saw a man fill his ballot with Republican suck, and the counters loved it and said, "This equals 50,000 votes for Biden. Tell the Supreme Court now." And this was quite. This was just simple. Loved you in Borat too.
Loved you in Borat. Ooh,
Oh
that's
man.
funny. That's actually funny.
Oh, I love this one's. This one's so childish. Why don't you consider being politey, Giuliani, for a change?
Really?
So childish. Really, Giuliani.
Who the hell wrote that? A child? Literally a child who wrote that.
Here's one. Obviously, he's not going to know. But I'll just imagine him reading this one because this is obviously a British guy. Hey, pal, just wondering what your views are on the pedestrianisation of Norwich city centre.
Imagine if you replied to that. Well,
Yeah.
my
Well,
views
I've got
are.
some strong views on that actually, and I'd like to give you a 10-point breakdown.
Jesus
So here's
Christ.
another one, another story. Not really a story, but
Kind of.
so this is apparently 9 things that you should never Google.
And you Googled all of them, didn't you?
No,
I'm pretty
I'll
sure
let
you
you
did.
do it.
Show
So
us your search history.
the first one is Fournier, or Fournier.
Okay.
Orlando
Why?
Magic NBA player Evan Fournier's nickname is Never Google, and there's a reason. His last name, which is an old French word for boulanger or bread maker, is also the
Hmm.
type of a type of gangrene that affects the genitalia.
Fournier.
You've been warned. Um, Number 2, crocodile, the street name for desomorphine, a morphine derivative with a powerful opioid effects.
Crocodile.
Yeah, which has
I
been
bet I
used
know
as a
some
substitute
people.
for heroin in Russia and Ukraine.
I bet I know some people who Googled that for sure.
Side effects of often illegally produced drugs include toxic substances which can cook the skin.
Oh, that sounds
It's
weird.
become known as a flesh eating drug.
Interesting. Crocodile.
Yeah,
I'm taking notes of when what not to Google.
you're taking notes of what drugs to get, you fucking
Yeah.
liar. Number 3, your favourite food. You shouldn't Google that because you'll only get hungry.
What is?
Yeah. Number 4, mouth larva. One Redditor was looking for moth larva and instead ran into this beastie. We can confirm it's exactly what you'd expect, and you shouldn't go there.
Really?
You're going to go Google it now whilst I'm
Nope.
talking to you. Do
Nope.
it. Why
Nope.
not?
I'm good. I'm good with that.
Another one was Google. That's boring. Calculus bridge is a problem, like a dental problem. You shouldn't Google your email address because you'll see what you're linked to online, and it could be that your account's been sold and spam, password leaks, all sorts.
Really?
And not the final one. Number 8, Harlequin ichthyosis. Yeah,
What the fuck is it?
ichthyosis. It's a severe genetic disease in which at birth a child's skin is encased in thick white plates of skin separated by deep cracks. There's many complications because there are cracks in the skin. The newborns are more susceptible to infection. Constant care is required to moisturize the skin.
Okay.
And finally, the last thing you should Google, you shouldn't Google, is your symptoms. If you think you're ill, go to the doctor.
I think that's a pretty normal one.
Well,
I never seen Google heal anyone.
you've never seen Google heal anyone?
No.
Wow.
Well, you're telling me you're one of those hypochondriacs that goes to Google and Googles everything.
Bruno, I want to talk to you about a topic that's, I know, very close to your heart, very close to my heart as well, and that is the
Hmm.
plight of the bumblebee. Are you laughing
how
for?
did how did you know it was too close to my heart?
I've read your blog.
Ah, okay, sorry.
But I want to talk to you about what the real reason is, Bruno. I've recently come into some information,
Okay,
and strap yourself in. I'm
share it,
glad you're
share
wearing
it.
those headphones because it's going to hopefully prevent your mind from being blown.
Okay, okay.
Here's the rub: bumblebees dying all over the world could have knock-on effects for most ecosystems. and the food
Okay.
chain
Oh,
in general,
that's
especially
shit.
humans. Okay, here's the real reason they're dying. A lot of people don't know this, but bees have got 6 tits. Okay, bees have
Six
got
tits.
bees have got
Okay.
6 tits. All right.
Let's carry on. Yeah.
Now, what the
Important.
government doesn't want you to know is that these bumblebees aren't dying; they're being kept in illegal milking farms.
How do you milk a fucking bee, man?
We'll get to that. They've devised an apparatus, a tiny apparatus, almost like I don't know if you've ever seen a cow farm where the way they milk them with a machine. They've
Yeah.
created a tiny one for bees with 6 cylinders, and they milk these bees to the bone until they're dead.
Luckily, it doesn't take too much space.
Well, this is the people need to know that this is what's really happening to bees. They're strapping these bees up to machines and they're milking them dry.
Dry from those 6 tits.
Yeah, and
All of them.
no one knows it. Unfortunately, I haven't got hold of the footage I was hoping for. My
Being
my
milked.
investigator has gone missing. I think he's been silenced by the government because
He's
we
being milked.
got too close to it, got too close, flew too close to the sun. Icarus, that was his name, by the way, not his nickname.
That information is very
But
concerning.
it needs to get, it needs to get out there, mate. I never knew bees had 6 tits.
I never knew you could milk a tit from a bee.
I never did. Well, where do you think honey comes from? It all makes sense now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
All of
Starts
it
to
makes
make
sense.
sense.
Their milk wouldn't look like a cow's. A cow was a mammal. Of course, their milk's bound to look different. All this shit about them pollinating flowers, that is true, to be fair. That's how they get their nutrients and resources
But then
to
the
produce
honey
their
is a
honey.
cover story. It's a cover
But the
story.
honey isn't produced by them making it in a little hive. No, they're being
It's by
milked.
them being milked.
This is what they do in their hive. They spray it out. They spray it out. But but they can do it in their own time. They're not draining themselves.
To the bone. To the bone.
But the government have got them in these farms, and they're milking them to the bone. Which all insects have bones. This is
Especially bees.
this is another fact that science won't tell you.
Is that all fucking insects have bones? We need.
Are you shocked? How do you feel about that information you've been given?
I feel disgusted, mate. I'm still processing it, but it's gonna take a
It's a
while
lot
to
to
sink
take in,
in.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot to
I've been
take
sitting
in.
on this for a couple of weeks, mate. I didn't know what to do with it. I
It's
told a
like
couple of people.
I don't know.
Of course,
It's like a
they all
riot.
believed it. Of course, they did. I mean,
Yeah,
why wouldn't you?
no, come on. And the way you put it, it's very believable. So
We need to free them. We need to liberate them.
still, one question.
Peter, if you're listening, get on it. Let's do something good at least.
I still have one question. 6 tits.
6 tits.
That's fucking amazing, brother.
But insects have got 6 of everything, mate. It's documented everywhere.
Six. Okay. So it does have 6.
Find a scientific journal. It's documented. But insects have 6 of everything. Of
Mate,
course,
let's
they've
call
got 6
David.
tits.
Let's call Sir David Attenborough.
I'm going to send him this clip. I'm going to send him this clip and say, David, I know you've got a lot on your plate.
I know you're experienced in milking a lot of things. What can you tell us about milking bees?
You've got a lot on your plate. But I need your help with this. I need you to make sure this reaches as many people as possible.
Imagine him doing a documentary about milking bees.
Yeah.
And now,
It's only a matter of time, mate. Netflix are going to be all over this.
yeah.
I'm telling you now,
when they
I'm
see
telling
this.
you now, Netflix. When you inevitably get sent this footage and information, we're talking big money.
Make us
alright?
proud. Make us proud.
Don't make us proud. Pay us. What you want about?
Oh no, no,
Make us
but make
proud.
us.
We want paying.
Yeah, of course, but make us proud as well. Pay us, pay at least to make me proud.
Yeah. Sort of 24 million is something that makes me proud.
Each.
Just just a ballpark figure.
Yeah, just a number that you shouted out like
Horrifying, mate.
randomly.
Horrifying news. Horrifying.
Mate, I'm gonna have nightmares thinking of this.
Well,
Poor things. Oof. Let's move to a happy note.
yes, Bruno, I've got some questions for you,
Okay.
and I want the fucking truth this time.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yes.
When you hear the word paranormal, what do you think of?
First thing, ghosts.
This isn't about a conspiracy, all right?
No, no, no. First thing, ghosts.
Okay. So I've got a couple more questions for you, Bruno. So you're someone who likes to live on the edge of death, sort of on a daily basis.
Yeah, completely
You're a
crazy.
risk taker. You're a maverick. You're a menace, really, if anything.
Yeah, mainly
So
that.
do you believe in ghosts?
Never seen one, so I don't have reasons to believe in them. But
Do you believe in monsters?
no.
Do you believe in life after love?
Yeah, completely share. I do believe in that. That's
Oh,
paranormal. That's the true definition
so
of
you
paranormal.
yourself, you're what you'd call a skeptic. You never seen one, but
No.
you're not ruling it out.
Yeah, I don't rule it out. I don't rule it out.
That's good. Open minded,
Yeah.
skeptical but open minded.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So, basically, paranormal events are perpetrated phenomena described in popular culture, folk, and other non scientific bodies of knowledge whose existence within these contexts is described as beyond normal experience or scientific explanation.
Interesting.
Proposals regarding the paranormal are different from scientific hypotheses or speculations extrapolated from scientific evidence because scientific ideas are grounded in empirical observations and experimental data gained through the scientific method. In contrast, those who argue for the existence of the paranormal explicitly do not base their arguments on empirical evidence, but rather on anecdote, testimony, and suspicion. Notable paranormal beliefs include those that pertain to extrasensory perception, for example, telepathy, spiritualism, and the pseudosciences of ghost hunting, cryptozoology, and ufology or ufology.
UFO.
Um, any? Was you going to say something? You said
No, no,
interesting,
no.
as if you
Thank
had
you.
something
No,
ready,
no,
some hot fucking steamy action ready to throw.
no. I don't. At the moment, I don't actually. I was just listening to what you were saying.
So that's basically a description of what the paranormal is. So ghosts, ghoulies, monsters. You know what a cryptid is? So something like the
Uh,
chupacabra or Bigfoot,
so that you
the
okay?
Loch Ness
Yeah.
monster, the Yeti.
Okay.
That's a
Well, the
cryptid.
Yeti, Bigfoot exists, huh? I'm all on Marshall's favor on this one.
Oh
Bigfoot
yeah,
exists. Yeah, I
Lo-
agree with
not
that.
Loch Nessie exists as well. I mean,
Yeah, of
everyone's
course.
seen the footage. It's
Come on,
pretty clear.
it's you could see it easily.
So, what are your thoughts on people that are staunchly adamant that they've seen a ghost or they experienced paranormal activity? They've encountered a demon. They've encountered ghosts, both friendly or not so friendly,
It's
spirits of all kinds.
brother, it's like I said, I'm a bit skeptical because I've never seen any, but I'll give them the benefit of doubt because come on, at the end of the day, you never know. It might
I
happen.
fully expected you to just send for people, just call them all sorts. That's
No,
very mature of you, Bruno. You've come a long way. So, I mean, ghosts feature in a lot of different countries and civilizations' folklore. I
yeah,
mean, Irish folklore is famous for sort of demons and ghoulies. I mean, mainly banshees are sort of a ghost-like figure in Irish mythology. In Japanese culture, they're quite. There's a reason why Japanese make good horror films.
true.
Their mythology is filled with all sorts of horrors and demons, but they have this thing that you would sort of call a what we see it as a ghost in Western culture. It's something called a yurei.
Yeah,
They have different types of yureis as well, but it's basically I think it's something like It's the spirit of the deceased if they've died in particularly violent way, or if they're feeling a particularly strong emotion, they become a vengeful spirit until they can clear some whatever's happened, or
Isn't is
until
that a
there's a
yoni?
ritual done.
Yoni,
Huh?
right?
Oni.
Yoni. Oni. That's it.
It's a yurei. Oni is a different type,
Okay.
but it is a type of spirit. So I'll give you that. And obviously, in a lot of Western cultures, European cultures, ghosts are all sorts. But it's not just that. I mean, supernatural, sort of
Paranormal. You can
paranormal,
include like
vampires,
witches.
werewolves, witches.
Yeah.
Yeah, witches, dark arts, especially devil worship, which I know you've partaken in a couple of
Well,
times.
yeah. Like the things we saw in Black Park, for
Yeah,
example.
pagan rituals, stuff like that. That is all technically attributed to paranormal, but you, like so you yourself, you haven't ever experienced anything paranormal.
No, not
Never
like that.
seen a ghost or felt like. Have you ever been in a scenario where you felt, oh, maybe there was something at the corner of your eye, or you've heard
Yeah,
something that doesn't quite fit the surrounding
but
you're in, or you've been in a
that's
particular place where you feel like you've sensed the presence or anything?
yeah. You can kind of say that, but I the thing is, if you think about it, that's more or less like that sensation you have when you go somewhere and you think, oh, I've been here, a deja vu, but you've never been there.
Yeah.
It's something weird. Paranormal. We can also talk about reincarnation and that kind of things because that's weird when you have those kind of feelings. But also, somebody said it's because your brain processed the information slower than what your eyes actually captured it, and that's why you have the sense of deja vu.
Well, that's
But
basically. Go on, carry on.
yeah, sorry, but like I was saying, yeah, I had those feelings like sometimes you're in somewhere and you just feel like a weird chill, or you feel like something touched you
Yeah.
and there's nothing next to you. But
So you've never
if it
really
is what it is,
experienced. You wouldn't say you've experienced anything sort of unexplainable event or anything.
not that I can remember, to be honest. I think if I did, I would remember it, but I don't remember seeing anything that
Yeah.
it was like there's nothing to explain it. Sometimes you hear something, it's like being in the house and the TV turns on by itself.
Has that ever happened to you?
Uh, Once or twice.
Were you under the influence?
Of what? That's the question.
I mean, me myself, I don't particularly believe in that kind of thing. It's not something that would ever scare me, even if it was something that was real. Personally,
You don't
um,
believe, or you're skeptical, but you
I am
can.
skeptical, but I am leaning towards the side of not believing. I do find it fascinating. I find people that are adamant they've experienced these kind of things. Their stories fascinating.
Yeah.
I find the idea of it. I like watching like the ghost hunting TV shows and stuff. The only bugbear I have is you see these people going to this supposed haunted location, hear any slight noise, and for like 10 minutes they all start going, "What was that? What was that? Did you hear that? You heard that, didn't you? You must have heard that." It's like, come on.
What's the point?
Could
Yeah.
be
Come
wind.
on.
You're in a very old building. You know,
You can floor
could be anything.
creaking, anything.
Yeah, a lot of those things are sort of explainable. They look into a lot of things like this supposed orbs that fly around, mists of energy. I find a lot of the sort of footage from sort of home footage. I feel like that's easily faked.
Yeah.
See,
Like
here's my thing with the people that claim to have experienced it. I don't disbelieve them. I don't think they're liars. I don't think they haven't experienced what they're thinking. But what I think all of this is it goes back to what you said about your brain processing things a bit
yeah,
different to how your eyes do. I genuinely think if we look at how much percent of our brain we actually use, is very, very minimal,
yeah,
of how much we could use. Now there's every possibility that for sudden parts of your life or for a lot of your life, you somehow tap into parts of your brain more than you should, parts that you can't understand. Your brain creates these visions,
yeah,
these sounds. So for you, it is real,
yeah.
but for everyone else, it isn't. It's quite possible. When I was younger, I used to suffer from like crazy hallucinations, like when I was a toddler, 4, 5 onwards, and I would see monsters climbing all over the walls.
What
And
the
for
fuck?
me, it was real as fuck because I'm in an episode of hallucination,
Yeah,
but it wasn't, obviously. So it's every
I
for me.
only
That's what my belief on it is. You're not lying. You have experienced this, but your brain has created it.
I only had something similar like that when I was young as well, but I had I had a high fever, really high fever,
Yeah.
and I actually started hallucinating. And I remember my mother saying to me that I was talking to someone in the bedroom that was not there. There was no one there, and I was having a conversation with somebody in the fucking bedroom.
See, that's the other thing. People like kids that have imaginary friends. People say that they are these kids seeing ghosts. When animals, like we've all had it with our pets, where they suddenly start staring at a
Yeah,
random part of the room, or they start barking randomly, making a load of
bloody
noise,
cats do that all the time.
hissing.
They
Yeah,
just sit looking at
I
one
do it with
corner.
Banjo all the time. He just suddenly stops and stares at a corner. I'm like, "Have you seen a ghost? What is it, boy?"
Kill it.
Yeah. With him, it's probably a fly. He's just tracking
Yeah,
with his eyes. But
but I heard.
I think personally that's my belief on it. I haven't done any of the research to see if there's anything scientifically that supports it, but that's what I think about it. I've
I've
I'd been to with my ex girlfriend. We went to. She was obviously massively interested in paranormal as well. We'd go to supposed haunted like pubs, or we went to Stonehenge. There was one of the pubs there that's supposed to be one of the most haunted pubs in Britain in Salisbury, and it had I think one the history of it was supposed to be haunted, and then there was a particular night in God years and years gone by, medieval times, where some guys got into an argument over gambling or something, and one of them cut off his hand and chucked it in a wall and bricked over it, and then the hand was found in the wall. Stuff, and they believe that there's a ghost in that building. It's proper old
looking for
pub,
the
like
hand.
one of these proper old ones, tiny ceilings and stuff like that.
That's
But
weird.
yeah, I
I
never
heard
experienced
stories.
anything. Was there? So
Well, not at least paranormal. Carrying on. I heard some stories from people, but you hear this even when you're talking to the people, they're saying those things, and you're like, yeah, okay, but
yeah, you treat you with skepticism. Now the problem, it's like I say, I'm not. When I hear that from someone, I'm not sat there thinking, look at this guy's chatting shit. This fucking guy's mental. I'm just sat there thinking,
for me,
you're adamant it's a ghost or a spirit, but it's probably your
it
brain creating it.
and it also goes back to what you said, joking in the beginning of this episode. Believing in paranormal for me is as good as believing in God. You're believing in something that cannot be proven that exists.
Yeah,
I'm not taking any
no,
disbelief
of
in,
course.
or having a go at people that believe in God. Everyone has their faith, whatever. I respect that.
It's a
I'm just saying
discussion. We're not having a go at anyone.
I don't believe in that. So I don't believe in God. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in those things unless I see them. If I don't see them, I'm not going to believe in something that I've never seen.
Yeah.
It's just it's like
No,
somebody telling you,
there's all sorts of other things. I mean, ghosts are part of it, but there's other things like demons, like we mentioned earlier, devil worship and witches. So things like a Ouija board, for example, can either bring through a ghost, a spirit, a positive spirit, or a
yeah, or
demon.
Bloody Mary.
Yeah, and a lot again, you see it in sort of horror movies where these demons that have never been human but have a desire to like inhabit a human body,
Yeah.
and that is a big part of that sort of thing with Ouija boards and stuff like that.
But that's also the thing, in this, and no one in the world knows or fully understands how earth works. You have spectrums of energy. You have a lot of things in this earth that can actually prove to be something different, and people don't know what it is, don't know how it works, and oh no, it's a ghost.
Yeah,
Something happened, it's a ghost.
yeah. I think there's too much attributed to that sort of thing. As soon as something that they cannot explain occurs, it's that.
It's
But it's not even
paranormal.
that. It's not just things that they can't explain. You find it again with a lot of the ghost hunters. There's something that's perfectly explainable. They're like, well, that's a it must be a spirit. But it's like, and again,
It's
they have the instruments they use, like the voice box thing that flicks through
yeah.
loads of different radio stations every second and picks up on one word because it's just about got a signal from that. And they're like, oh, the ghost is speaking to us. How can you be sure? How can you be sure it's not just flicking through a radio station and that part of a song it's managed to latch onto before cycling through to the next one?
Yeah, because it's a frequency.
Yeah.
It's latching to a frequency. So what did you expect?
So you must have you heard of the Pendle Witches?
Yes.
So that's again another part of it, witchcraft. It has been practiced. It's not witchcraft is real in terms of people have
trying
committed
to do.
tried
Yeah.
these things and committed some horrible things against people. And obviously, the way that the witches were executed was not very fucking pleasant at all. But that was in 1612. Now, I think some of their graves for the ones that were accused are still in the village of Pendle in one of the cemeteries.
Oh, really?
Quite interesting. But apparently, the
Interesting.
Britain's most haunted village is called Pluckley.
Pluckley.
Yeah, so there's reputed up to 12 or possibly 13 or 14 ghosts in that small village alone.
Jesus.
It's quite an interesting history there. So I was thinking we should actually go up there
How far
to
is
that
that from here?
village. I don't know. Let's Google it.
Also,
But I'd be interested in going there and staying at like the one of the hotels or
day in,
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
staying there just to see
and
what happens.
just see if we maybe we experience something,
Catch a
maybe we don't.
glimpse.
But
Catch a glimpse of something. Yeah, I know.
yeah,
You know where we could go?
where?
And this is really far fetched, but
So it's not far,
it.
mate. It's near it's actually near Ashford in Kent.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's like 2 hours drive from here, maybe.
near Maidstone.
That's not too bad.
We
We
can
can
give that a
actually go
go.
there. Yeah, let's give that a go. Why not? Screw it,
Stay at the
guys.
Black Horse.
If we don't come back,
Temporarily
you
closed.
know what happened.
Something for
We got.
next year anyway. The Black
But
Horse is temporarily closed.
if
It's
you
a
wanna,
pub there.
another place that's it's really well known also for that. It's not only known for jazz; it's also known for that is New Orleans, the French Quarter.
Hmm.
It's really known for witchcraft, and they still
Well,
have
Salem. Well, that's
Salem.
more voodoo in
Yeah,
New Orleans because
New Orleans. It's a mix of voodoo with
there's a lot of
witchcraft.
like French Creole, from
Yeah,
like Haiti and places like that where
from
voodoo
the
is
French
big as well.
Caribbean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but Salem would be a good place in Massachusetts.
Salem would be nice, but I would like New Orleans would be actually interesting to go as well,
But
just
it'd
to
be a good
check
place to
the
go in
French
general.
Quarter.
It's a really fun place, isn't it?
Right,
What's the nickname of it? The Big Easy.
big
Is that
easy.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe we're
We
wrong,
can go
but
there through Mardi Gras, that kind of
yes.
stuff.
Well, we'll
Beads
go through what's it
stuff.
called? Nashville first. That'd be sick. Stop off in Tennessee for some moonshine,
Moonshine, and then we go and sell it during Mardi Gras.
and then we'll go and research witchcraft.
Yeah, why not? Sounds
Yeah, I
like a
thought that'd
good
be
thing to
quite
do.
cool place to go. Pluckley. So, do you
I
want to hear
think,
some of the ghosts that apparently
yeah, yeah.
inhabit the area? So, apparently, there's a spectre of a highwayman hid in a tree at the Pinnock.
Okay.
A phantom coach and horses has been seen in several locations around the village.
Hmm.
The ghost of a gypsy woman who drowned in a stream at the Pinnock.
Interesting.
Pinnock's lit. The miller has been seen at Mill Hill. The miller, just
The Miller.
that's who he is. The hanging body of a schoolmaster in Dicky Bus
Dickie, what?
Dicky Bus's Lane. That's just a funny name for a street.
That's actually
Um,
nice, man.
a colonel who hanged himself in Parkwood. A man who smothered by a wall of clay who drowned at the brickworks. A man
Whoa.
smothered by a wall of clay. Oh,
Ah,
okay.
okay.
The Lady of Rose Court is said to have poisoned herself in despair over a love triangle.
Love Triangle.
The White Lady, a young woman apparently buried inside 7 coffins and an oak
7.
sarcophagus, who haunts St. Nicholas's Church. It's a lot of 7
Well,
coffins and oak sarcophagus.
when we go there,
Someone
we need
wanted
to
her
take a
buried for
note.
good.
Yeah, we need to take a note of all those locations and go to all of them just
Yeah,
to see.
get it off the website. Another one, the Red Lady,
Hmm.
reputedly a member of the Dering family, who haunts the churchyard of St. Nicholas's Church. A small white dog is also being reported in the same location.
The small white dog.
Yeah,
Interesting. The
those are
red
all the
lady. I
ghosts.
was expecting that you was gonna say that it was a prostitute that got killed by someone in something.
That's in poor taste, Bruno.
Sorry.
Respect the dead, Bruno. Come on. All right?
Yeah, that's why we're going there.
You're going to be one of them one day.
Yeah, all of us,
If you
eventually.
were a ghost, actually, but I'll ask that question at the end. Let's get on to some stories of apparent paranormal activity. I'm going to try and find some good ones that I found earlier. Here's one. You can tell me if you believe this story or not. Not creepy, but kind of cool. That's how it starts. My mother split and transplanted a rosebush for my grandfather's farm about 40 years ago. It took, but never bloomed. At that point, she only kept it because it grew into the fence nicely and kept us kids from climbing it. My grandfather died about 5 years after she transplanted it, and that spring it bloomed red roses. A few years after after that, my grandmother died, and in the spring it bloomed white roses. These are the only 2 years it has ever bloomed.
Whoa. Okay.
What do you make of that?
Weird.
Do you believe it?
But if he's saying so,
I think it's a
uh,
load of codswallop. I think they've just made up a story to sound cool.
probably,
Come on.
probably.
Why red roses? Was your granddad a particular fan of red roses?
That's a question that you can actually make. Yeah.
I
I don't
personally don't
know.
believe that one.
It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't make too much sense.
This
Again, I'm
one
skeptical.
this one I don't believe. Again, don't know if you can call this paranormal. Growing up, my older brother had a computer program that he used to compose piano music on. I remember I was reading in the living room when I heard the most beautiful violin melody I have ever heard. I listened to the whole thing, which was several minutes long. I walked down the hallway to compliment my brother on his masterpiece, when I realised my brother was not using the computer and I was home alone.
I think that's a bunch of bullshit again. To be honest,
First point, you said it was piano music. Now you're saying it's a beautiful violin.
violin.
Mm.
Yeah.
And you only realised when you got to you only remembered you were home alone when you got to your brother's room. Come on. This ain't a fucking movie, pal. Also, if anything, that suggests that the computer program he's created has become sentient and that AI is beginning to take over the world via music.
Violin,
Nice try.
specifically violin.
Um, I don't know. Is this one any good? Not me, but a friend of mine told me about a dream she had years ago about a decrepit old man who was being chased by wolves. In the dream, he kept referring to himself in the third person as old skin. Old skin's got to get away from these wolves,
Hmm.
etc. Eventually, the wolves caught up to him and started ripping him to pieces in front of her. And he kept narrating the events in a monotone voice. Old skin's being eaten alive. Old skin's going to die. She woke up feeling creeped out, but the weirdest part came when she started describing the dream to her brother. He stopped in mid sentence and asked, "Was his name Old Skin?" I had the exact same dream.
Again, I don't know.
I wonder if they're twins. I
If
know
they're twins, it can
you've heard of
justify
twins
that.
having that sort of shared
Yeah.
experience phenomenon.
Twins could be justifiable. Yeah, that's actually true.
If it ain't,
But
it's fucking bullshit. I'm telling you now.
I'm just gonna drop here another
Yeah,
paranormal thing. Very not, it's not paranormal, but it's kind of paranormal. Something that actually makes almost the entire nation of the UK to be happy is that fucking Liverpool lost 2-0 against Atalanta.
bloody hell. They got no players, mate,
I just saw it now. A better 2-0 at home.
at home.
At home, Anfield.
Shit.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, it was
Well,
just
that's a
another
surprise.
paranormal history, but this one you can believe it.
Yeah, that's not paranormal, is it?
No, it's very normal from
It's,
now on.
yeah, it's something that's literally happened. So there's some stories. Apparently, some people that have lived in haunted houses. Um, okay. Treat this one with a bit of courtesy, Bruno, not to.
Okay.
So in 2012, my stepfather overdosed on heroin and dropped dead in the hallway of his condo apartment. My mum had moved out shortly after, since they were already behind on mortgage bills. A few months later, my lease went up and I was barely making ends meet and couldn't find a new roommate. My mum offered me the key to the condo apartment to squat for a few months until I saved up enough for my own apartment. I took the offer and moved into the condo. After about a month or so, I was asleep in the living room and I had this dream of him standing in the hallway facing the living room. He was looking at me and smiling slash laughing. He even made a stupid joke and everything. It wasn't disturbing at all, just bittersweet. Then I suddenly woke when I felt some pressure stroking down my head and back. There was nothing around me and it tripped me the hell out. As a skeptical person that doesn't believe in the paranormal, it has to be some kind of sensory hallucination. It was still nice to see him in my dream once again, though. Made me tear up.
That's exactly what he said. It can be a central
Yeah, I think they
hallucination.
described it personally. I mean, they're probably where they're saying they woke up, where they felt that stroking of the hair. Maybe that
Depression,
was
yeah.
they were in between waking up and still sleep. You know what I mean?
That limbo, you have
Yeah.
that limbo between waking up and, it's, I don't know. I think we all have been there in that limbo sometimes where you actually don't know exactly if you're still asleep or if you're actually awake. Uh,
Um, Trying to find some good ones as well.
I don't know. If go, yeah, while you still look for it,
Yeah.
um, the twins thing is something actually fascinating. That kind of thing. Like I know twins that something happened to one and they were miles apart and the other one felt it.
Yeah, that's
That's
that thing
weird.
we said
That's
earlier, like that
weird.
sensory connection, telekinetic
Yeah, yeah.
sort of type thing.
That's actually really interesting. How they can have that kind of connection. I know they
Mm.
share the womb, everything, but
Is it real?
what does it make? How does it happen? Is it really real?
Yeah, or is it? Because I mean, again, it's you're hearing it from someone who's just telling you what they've just telling you something. It doesn't.
Yeah, I never
There's
saw
no
anything happening
proof
in
of
front
it,
of
is
me.
there?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I do agree with you.
It's fascinating. If it's true, it's fascinating how that happens.
What about vampires and werewolves, mate? Do you believe in them?
Brother, again, I heard stories about some stuff. I come from Portugal.
Yeah, give
My
us some
parents
Portuguese folklore.
my parents live in a very small village. You've been there. How many people do you think you have in that village? 100 people, 200 maximum, if
Yeah,
you have 200. And I heard when I was younger, I used to hear old people telling stories about werewolves in the area, and I'm like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? And I heard the guy telling a story that once he was in his tractor coming from his farm, and a wolf, kind of a form of a wolf, something wolfish, crossed in front of him, and he stabbed him. With how do you call those thing? It's a fork, right? The ones for the hay.
pitchfork.
Pitchfork, yeah. He fucking stabbed him with a pitchfork. The thing ran, and the next day, a guy from the village was in the hospital with the three marks of the pitchfork in his back.
He stabbed a bloke, but
But he
he's
said
saying
it
it's a
wasn't.
werewolf.
He said it was a wolf, not a person.
He's a fucking liar. What? How much fucking aguardent has he been drinking?
I don't know, mate. This I wasn't even born when this happened.
He's full of it, mate. That fucking homemade aguardent he was brewing out the back of his fucking farm
Probably.
is
I think it
far
was a.
too potent.
Yeah, I think so. But and people believe in that. Oh yeah,
Well,
he
this is how
was.
that starts. It starts with probably someone being. You think back to medieval times of fucking shit people were putting in their bodies that they didn't even know about. Homemade, homebrew, fucking all sorts. That's how these things start. Or it starts with someone who's done something terrible and wants to create an excuse.
Yeah,
And I think
something like that.
that gives birth to a lot of folklore because
What
you
do you
think a
think?
lot of these people wouldn't have been able to read or write. They wouldn't have been educated. They would have just
They would
believed
believe
things.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you have that thing as well, like with vampires. Okay, yeah, you have people that actually they think they are vampires and they drink blood, but
They don't think they are. They
that's
just act like they are. They
yeah,
say
but
they are.
that's not a fucking vampire. Vampires are not real. You're just a fucking retard
I tell
because
you
you're
how to
drinking
prove if
blood.
someone's a vampire, Bruno. First of all, have a look at them when they walk past the mirror.
Yeah, and see if you can see them.
Second of all,
Garlic.
they have to be invited in. So if anyone ever shows up to your door, knocking on the door, like, "Oh, hello, it's me," or say it's an old friend, and you're like, "Oh, hello, I haven't seen you in a while." If they go, "Oh, can I come in?" Say
No.
no. Say no straight away.
Too many movies you've
Yeah,
seen.
say no, Bruno. Imagine that. They show up to your door. Can I come in? No,
No.
vampire. You pull out a crucifix and you remember the
A
old wooden
steak.
stakes.
You steak him.
Jab it into him, and then when the police show up, say you thought it was a wolf.
And they're looking at me and looking at the guy
Go,
dead on
oh,
the floor,
sorry,
like
sorry. Go, oh my god, I'm so the police. Oh, what have you done? Oh, sorry, I thought it was a werewolf.
they're like, "What happened? He
Go,
changed it back."
oh, he's a vampire. He's not a werewolf. He's a vampire. And then you get arrested and taken away.
No, I don't think I'll be. If it's that PC that was paying the Krispy Kremes,
Yeah,
I'm off. I'm
he'll
off.
stick a 7p barcode on you and jog
Yeah,
on.
yeah, I'm good with that one.
Just yeah, I tell you, that's how you got. If he showed up, just make sure you've got a box of Krispy Kremes at hand at all times.
Dude, brother, just slip it in the corner, like.
I tell you what, Bruno. Before we move on, is there any companies you want to brand deal from? This is a time for us. It's time we got ourselves a brand deal, Bruno.
I don't. I never thought about it, to be honest.
Think of what brands you want,
But the only brands that come to mind are beer brands.
mate. That's fine.
You already showed one, Guinness.
Guinness.
That would be an interesting one. Uh, I don't know. Last week I was parading here a bottle of Sagres, so
Yeah, that'll be all
maybe
right. That'll be
Sagres.
all right.
That would be
Anything
actually
else?
nice.
What about a clothing brand or something, mate? You want to be sponsored by a clothing brand, Adidas or
Um,
something, or
yeah, maybe Adidas, just for shoes.
yeah.
Just for shoes,
I will,
nothing else.
Apple, you can sponsor us if you want.
Yeah, we would like the new phones if that's fine with
Nintendo,
you guys.
Sony. If you
PlayStation, yeah,
want Suntory whiskey, actually, you can sponsor
yeah,
us.
yeah, definitely
Listen,
whiskey.
we've got time for all of you. So get your offers together,
And you
talk it
better
over
do
with
it
your
now.
team. Come to us. Get in touch with our people.
Do it now
We're,
before we're too big.
we're open to offers. We'll listen. But yeah, before this gets too big, take your opportunity. Come on, don't be
Because
foolish.
then
You'll be
we
kicking
will milk
yourself.
you.
You'll be kicking yourselves, and we do make it big, and we deliberately go with one of your rivals.
Or we'll milk you at that time. We'll milk you as much as those bees are being milked.
God, the bees. Should have a minute silence for those bees.
Yeah.
Yeah, those any more brands, Bruno? Come on, this is the chance. This is the opportunity.
Nah, Nike.
Any food places, fast food places?
Nah, I don't eat fast food anymore, man. So I'm good
Mm.
with that.
Any butchers you like meat? Any butchers? Any local butcher you want to sponsor you?
The halal corner there.
The halal one down the road. Is
Yeah,
they good?
down the road. Yeah, they actually have good meat, man.
Yeah, I bet they do.
I don't know
Eh?
what's the name of that the one that they were always ordering food for lunch. The Peri Peri down the
Oh
road.
yeah,
If we can have the sponsor from the Peri Peri down the road.
mate, you fucking bought enough of their peri peri. You should get one up by rights. You
Yeah,
should
not
just
me.
barge in there.
Yeah, just this is mine now.
All right, Bruno.
What about you?
Me, I've said mine. I want
Uh,
Suntory whiskey, Nintendo, Sony, Apple,
BMW
Nike.
wouldn't be
Nike would be
that bad.
good.
BMW, Mercedes wouldn't be bad, to be honest. I just
Uh,
a new car. Why not?
Volkswagen, mate. Go for them. I tell you what, if Chelsea Football Club want to make me an official partner, I'll take that. And I tell
Yeah,
you what, if you need me to step in for a couple of games at CB, I'll do that.
yeah.
I'll
I'll stay
volunteer.
in
I'll volunteer my time.
I'll stay in the
Quorn, I tell
Tribune.
you what, Quorn or Linda McCartney, if you're looking for a
A new
spokesperson.
CB, a part-time CB for your club. You're gonna sit next to Petroche. You be
I'm talking about
like,
Linda McCartney and Quorn Mints,
no,
big
no. I was talking.
companies, and you were
Yeah,
asking if I
no.
want to be their centre back.
I'm still in Chelsea. I'm still in Chelsea. I'm still in Chelsea.
I'll sit next to Petr Cech, yeah.
No, that would be interesting. No.
Right. Well, I suppose. I mean, we've given you guys the opportunity. The ball's in your court. Amazon.
Oh yeah, Amazon. Definitely
I
Amazon.
mean,
Amazon.
Netflix were already going to get in contact with us because that
Yeah.
documentary they're going to make about our
So
bee, the knowledge we have on bees. But let's move on, Bruno, to a new story about paranormal. And this is another story that is right up your fucking alley.
Okay.
So, a woman who's dating a ghost explains how she will have his babies.
Give me a second. I need to get myself ready for this shit because this sounds it's gonna be interesting. Okay, carry on. Shoot, please. Indulge me with this
Um,
one.
Now, when you hear her name, I don't
Okay.
think you'll be surprised. Her name is Amethyst Realm. A spiritual guidance counselor shared her romantic liaisons with a spirit on ITV's This Morning. After 6 months of dating a ghost she met in Australia, they were reportedly more in love than Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore in Ghost. They've also apparently joined the Mile High Club. So Amethyst said in the interview, I refer to it as him because that's easier. He's very ancient, very wise, very kind. I would say he's been on the planet for a very long time. Is she describing a ghost or Bruno Ricardo Diaz?
Mile high, not me.
She describes her boyfriend as something she can feel rather than see, that he was an emotional, physical presence. Hmm,
What the fuck is she? What drugs is she on?
yeah, I know. It's difficult to explain in terms of normal earthbound relationships. It's a bit deeper than that. We don't have a need for conversation. So he's just hitting it and quitting it, this
Yeah,
ghost.
just hit and quit. That's it.
In recent interviews, she's tried to clarify how she and the ghost plan to have a child together. I've been looking into. This is where she fucking loses it, mate, because she's pissing off a lot of people here that have been affected by this horrible thing. I've been looking into phantom pregnancies, she said, and I believe that a phantom pregnancy is actually a real pregnancy, but you have a phantom inside of you rather than a human baby.
What
The reason
the?
we don't ever manage to carry these to full term is that people don't understand. I'm hoping through understanding what's going on with my body, I'll be able to. Now, you know what a phantom pregnancy is, don't you?
Yeah. So why the?
So she's gone a bit,
Oh
she's really
my
lost it now.
god! Wow. I'm lost for words, man. How the?
Do you
What the
believe her?
fuck,
Do you believe her? You said you were skeptical and you said that none of these, you're never going to call these people liars.
brother? In
Do
this
you
one,
believe this one?
I'm not even skeptical on this one. She can go fuck herself, mate.
Doesn't need to. She's got a ghost to do it.
Brother, that's the thing. Can she explain us how she fucking does it with the ghost?
You remember that singer Kesha?
Yeah.
She said in an interview that she'd shagged a ghost once.
Was the guy's name Ghost?
No, she
Ah,
said she'd
the-
shagged an actual ghost once.
Bah, fuck off, mate. Yeah, the drugs were kicking in really hard in Kesha for sure. But what she
So
was
this
what she
this
was.
woman's a liar.
Yeah, but what are they doing? They're using every single drug known to man at the same
Crocodile,
fucking time. Brother, they're
Russian street
probably
heroin.
it's
Mental, innit? These people are walking in streets and they're living lives, being paid money.
to talk this shit.
Yeah.
I'm still I'm actually appalled with this, and I'm appalled with
Appalled. You're
yeah
appalled.
yeah
Jesus, that's strong.
brother. I'm even more annoyed with the fact that people actually give them antenna time, screen time for this. How the why are you gonna take
I tell
someone
you
into a
why,
TV
because it's
show?
fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
This
but
these TV shows, think what they're about. What look at even things like the X Factor and that, yeah. What when do they get their most views, their most fucking hits
the
online,
crazy
stuff like that?
people.
The crazy
The,
people.
but that's the thing. Okay, but still, I would take her into a TV show and I would take the piss out of her for 1 hour in that fucking TV show.
I put her on a lie detector test.
And the ghost as
No,
well.
no, just
So we
there.
had to put both of them.
Just there. How does she know the ghost is consenting?
She's raping a
She's not
ghost.
speaking to him. Yeah, she's not said a word to the
He
fella.
didn't say no. He didn't say no. If he doesn't say no, it's
He's not had
okay.
the opportunity to say no, Bruno.
Well, that's what you think. She probably said, "What about it? Yes or no?" And he's like, "Hmm,
Maybe he's a
hmm."
mute.
If he is a mute, we're gonna have a problem. I'm gonna sue that woman. She's
Yeah.
raping a ghost, a very old ghost. She's taking advantage of an elderly ghost.
Ancient, very ancient. So it might not even be human.
She
It might be a
doesn't.
ghost of a dinosaur.
She doesn't describe it actually.
It could be the ghost of a fucking diplodocus.
Um, I don't know.
She
The only
doesn't
thing
know
that
the age.
comes
Also, she doesn't know if that ghost died an adult or a
child.
minor.
Yeah, you know what's the
She
only
could
thing
be a
that
ghost
comes to mind?
nonce.
Scary movie. It's the only thing that comes to mind.
Right.
They said it right.
Bruno,
That's it.
here's another story. This one's quite long, but we're going to read it. This was posted on Reddit. So there's an urban legend about a creepy forest ghost near where this person's from. Apparently, it was actually them all along. So they started with, okay, guys, this is a kind of hysterical story about me being the creepy one. It happened about 11 years ago, but I did not know about the hilarious result of my accidental creepiness until last weekend. I also apologise for the length, but I hope it's worth reading. You have to know that I am a very small woman, 155 centimetres and 43 ish kilograms. That
Okay.
is very small. I'm also very pale, and I used to have dark, thick hair down to my ass back then. This is fucking dating profile, mate. Fucking get to the story.
yeah, I'm seeing where that's going.
If Snow White and one of her dwarfs had a child, they would look like me. What's she suggesting? She's suggesting that the prince had been cucked by a dwarf in Snow
Yeah,
White. That's the
she
real
was
story.
she was a fucking slag.
My hometown is a beautiful historic spa located at the foothills. It's kinda in the shape of an L with a deep forest in the curve. Do you reckon we could find where this place is supposed to be?
Probably.
We'll get to the part where she's finished describing the place and we'll try and Google it. I always totally loved that forest, as it was not only magical but also kind of deserted. The tourists and visitors of the spa were mostly older people with no desire to explore a forest, and the local people did not have a reason to go there, as literally nothing to see was there except for one place. About 3 km from the city centre, there was a small decaying castle, or more like a summer residence, Renaissance style. The city council quite reasonably used all money to keep the historical buildings in the centre in a good shape, so this piece of architecture was really kind of forgotten, hence a great place for me. I used to jog there, smoke there secretly, draw, or just have some me time. I also never missed an opportunity to take a shortcut through the forest when I went to my evening drama class. I've got a
Okay.
feeling this is in the UK
It sounds like it.
or America. Historical spa. That's not going to be in America.
I don't know.
Okay, let's read on. I was hardly scared in that forest, even in the dark. For me, it was the safest place ever. Well, you're a fucking idiot then. But sometimes when I started to sing along loudly, which always helped me.
Yeah.
So now to the point of the story. One of my classmates organised a tour de pub after the end of the last year of high school. Legal drinking age in my country is 18, usually end high school at the age of 19 here. Where is this place? And invited all of the people she liked and wanted to say goodbye to, as all of us were going to move out for uni. We had to meet at 9 p.m., and all of us had to have a scary costume because our teachers always said that we were a horror class. Oh, banter. Okay, my drama lesson ended at 8:30 p.m., so I did not have time to change myself. But luckily, I was playing an angel in our play, so I was wearing a long white dress, long wide white dress. I decided to go as a creepy little girl so I could use the dress. For this purpose, I borrowed my mother's old cloth doll. She made it clear that she's going to kill me if anything happens to her favourite childhood toy. The night went great. We got drunk. When all the guys, including one with the strange oily hair, started to look very attractive, I decided to call a ride home. For the well-being of all mankind, my classmates just asked me to let them know when I'm home. In this I love everything and everybody and life is just beautiful drunk state of mind, I got a brilliant idea. I've already said goodbye to my friends. Why shouldn't I say goodbye to my favourite place? I got accepted to a uni far away, so God knows when I'll visit that old castle again. Plus, nobody is going to miss me, as friends thought I was going home, and my parents were informed that I will be coming in the morning at the earliest. So, yes, I went to that castle and decided to sleep there as a form of saying goodbye to the good old times. Bit of a weirdo. She did say that, to be fair. I woke up an hour later, aching and frozen to stone and much more sober. I called myself names for this stupid idea and headed home, shivering, thirsty, and dirty. I was halfway there when I realised I forgot that fucking doll in the castle. I went back to the castle, apologising to the Mother Nature for being such a definition of human failure. As I was getting closer, I started to hear laughing voices from the castle, and I found a bunch of kids, came to chill there in the meantime. I was really irritated, and this is my magic safe place. I'm allowed to smoke joints here. Plus, it's 3:30, and you're like 5 years old anyway. I did not say anything. I just entered the castle and asked with a very rough voice, that caused by a lot of smoking the evening before, "Have you seen my doll?" All of them looked at me, horror in their eyes. At first, I thought it's because an adult caught them smoking weed and they're scared that I was telling them if they and they would get into trouble. So I added, "I will not do anything to you if you get my doll." One of the girls pointed to the corner where my doll was, so I grabbed her. And as I was walking out, I noticed a bad and fresh graffiti on the wall. It made me irritated to my soul. Who do they think they are, ruining this place? I turned to them and screamed at them to leave now and never come back here. And then I stormed into the darkness. Last week, I came home for the celebrations of 700 years since the earliest written record of the town existed. My former high school took this opportunity to publish an almanac, which I bought. Apparently, the school asked the students to collect interesting facts or stuff about the town and write an article about them. And some people in the school chose some of them and made them part of the almanac. This is how I found out a ghost of XXX, tragically deceased daughter of the last owners of the summer residence in the wood, is still protecting this building. So these people thought she was a ghost, and they've made a whole fucking urban legend about it now.
That's funny, man. That's actually funny.
Oh, that was long though. That was funny.
That's actually really funny.
Here's another story. What do you make of that one, Bruno? Do you believe
That
it?
one,
Or is
no,
it a bit
that one.
far-fetched? Sounds like
Which one?
it sounds like someone's written a fucking comedy or something, didn't it?
Ah, yeah, but that one is believable that people actually fought that. They
Yeah.
were fucking high. They were gone and they fought. She was pale with dark hair until the bloody butt, small one. I believe that they got confused because they were completely hardcore.
So again, I haven't found any of those stories. But what do you make of these people that believe that, like, when they've been possessed by an evil spirit, or they're in a home with a spirit that has evil intentions?
Uh, with evil intentions.
Mm. You've got to remember a
But
lot of these films are sort of based on, think for example,
yeah, but that's
the
all.
Conjuring series. That Ed and Lorraine, they're real people. They were real ghost hunters, and the places that those were real places. They were
I know,
real
I know.
events or real supposed events, like the Enfield ghost in London, for example. That was apparently. What do you make? Do you think they're real? Do you think
I
they're lying, or do you think they're a hoax, or do you think it's what I said? It's happening in their heads.
I think it's happening in their heads, to be honest. I'm actually not sure. It's
Listen, there's plenty of horrors committed by humans already, and you think a lot of people look for an excuse to get out of, being punished for their crime.
and they're gonna say that they were crazy, something like that,
Yeah,
as usual.
the horrors that humans inflict on each other, are bad enough. Let alone vengeful spirits.
Yeah, I know. But I don't. Honestly, I don't know. To be honest, that's the thing. If we're skeptical about majority of the things, I'm also a bit skeptical about possessions and that kind of stuff. It's weird, man. It's just weird. I don't see a spirit possessing your body or something like that, but I don't
Bruno, there's a story here, and it's titled "So I Tried to Fuck a Ghost." Do you want to hear this
know.
one?
Yeah.
So this guy's girlfriend dumped him, and he was feeling upset. Uh, Short backstory: he heard his dog barking out a window, Came to the living room. There was nothing there. No cars or animals, no people. But he seemed more distressed than usual. Then he runs to the back door. He starts doing it there. And the guy thinks he's justified for being unsettled by this. So, after a few minutes of looking, we see the motion activated lights. Oh, sorry. By this point, my mum had come out of her room to see what was going on, and we looked out the front window. After a few minutes of looking, we see the motion activated lights go on. Now, my first response is fuck, there's someone trying to get into the house. So I start locking all the doors and windows while my mum checks the security cameras. Nothing. There was nobody at our house, no animals, no people, no intruders, or at least none that the cameras picked up. My mum and I, being spiritual people, immediately assume it's a ghost. Immediately. She's unsettled by this and starts to grab the holy water, but I tell her not to worry. It's probably a bat or something that flew above the cameras. There you go, a rational explanation. What did you immediately think ghost then? Do you know what I mean?
Doesn't make any sense.
I don't
But
know much about ghosts. Okay, well, he's immediately assumed it was a ghost when it could have easily been a bat, but also doesn't know much about ghosts.
about ghosts, yeah, I know.
But at that point, this is where it gets me, Bruno. My weird mix of sadness and sexual frustration had me wanting to let whatever was outside into our house. I always wanted a haunted house story, and I had heard stories of people having sex with ghosts, so I figured I'd give that a try.
What the fuck?
I admit I probably looked batshit crazy yelling into the night something along the lines of, "Come in, guys, it's warm in here, we won't kick you out." But long story short, I now had a ghost in my house.
That doesn't make any sense.
Anyway, so like any sensible human, I decided to make the best of a shit situation. I was going to fuck the ghost. This has got to be a troll. Firstly, I felt it was rude to fuck someone that I didn't know. Oh, that's good
But
of you.
then
Got some
it's a
morals.
ghost.
So I gave the energy a name, Karen.
Karen.
I tried talking to Karen through my tarot cards, and then through my pendulum, and then through mirror scrying. Don't know what that is. Those conversations didn't really go anywhere, so I decided to do it the old fashioned way. That night, like every other night, I heard my door slam open. Immediately, I took off all my clothes and removed my covers. Did I look crazy? Yes. Did I care? No, not really. For a little bit of context, I take sleeping pills regularly to help me fall asleep. So, okay, you're basically being affected by the side effects of these pills. I'm assuming. So to help me fall asleep. At this point, they just started kicking in. My words were slightly slurred, but I turned to the doorway, running my hand along my torso. I told whatever was standing there, "Hey, Karen, wanna like fuck?" Because I'm down if you're down. The door just stayed open, so I continued. "Oh, come on, Karen. It must be lonely out there being a spirit and all. Don't be scared. I won't hurt you." I watched the door intently, and for the first time ever, it began to creep closed. It
That's definitely a
continued and
troll, mate.
eventually shut. I was terrified, but also let down. It got rejected by a ghost. Oh, that's got to be a fucking troll. Karen
You're
never
rejected.
opened my door again.
You're rejected by a Karen ghost.
That's got to be a fucking. There's got to be a troll. I like this comment here. Forget the holy water. Just whip out your dick and assert your dominance.
Whip out your dick and insert your
All right.
dominance.
So we've had a laugh at that story, Bruno, but let's
Yeah,
get serious.
I cannot. I cannot.
Tried to fuck a ghost. He tried to fuck a ghost.
Brother, she
And he
tried to
blames it on
make the
his weird
best.
mix of sadness and sexual frustration.
No, and he tried to
Bro,
make the
just have a
best out of
wank.
this situation. So I'll fuck the ghost.
Yeah, because his door was being slammed open. Let's make the best of this. You can
Oh my.
let me slam your ghost vagina on my dick the way you slam that door open. Oh, so what do you reckon, Bruno? Is that a real paranormal experience?
No, it's just an idiot.
So, do you know what makes that even sadder? Is
Is
he
that he
was
was rejected by the ghost
not
in his own
no
story
in his own story. First of all, a story that think he's clearly made up. What makes it even sadder is if it is true, he wasn't just rejected. Obviously it's bad enough being rejected by a human. He wasn't rejected by a ghost. He was rejected
by
by
Karen.
his own fantasy,
Yeah,
something that isn't real. He got rejected by an empty room.
that guy has serious fucking issues, man.
Well, Bruno, I've got to be honest, mate. I'm actually starting to think it was real. I think he was trying to tap that
Well,
ghost booty,
since from
trying
the
to slap
from
those
both,
ghost titties about.
I think, since from both of us, you're the one that's single now. I think you should try and check a ghost.
Do you think I should try and incite a spirit into my house and try
Yeah,
and shag it?
just to shake, make the best out of that
Well, you
situation.
can do
That's
that as
what you
well.
should.
That's not cheating.
Well, that's I don't tell that to Christina. I don't think that will be a fucking
Ask
good
her.
excuse.
Give her a text her now
Yeah, and she will put me in the hospital saying that I'm crazy,
and say, if I fucked a ghost, would you count that as cheating?
and she will go like, "What?
And if she goes yes, go, what if the ghost fucks me?
What if you both cry at the end?"
What if the ghost isn't human?
Uh, Does it count? Yeah.
Ectoplasm everywhere. So, do you reckon there's any truth to the Ghostbusters movie?
No.
Right, Bruno, let's we need to end this because we're descended into the realms of madness. So
Man,
you're a skeptic, you're open, you're not ruling it out. We should go to some of these supposedly haunted places.
that place we were talking before sounds like a good
Yeah,
place to go.
try and wake up some spirits. See Wagwan.
Yeah, Wagwan boy.
Hey Wagwan. Uh, final question for you, Bruno. If you did come back as a ghost, what would you do?
Do you really want to know?
I actually do. I know where your mind's gone straight away after that last story, but
No, it didn't
That's a
go.
serious. Yeah, all right. That's a serious question, mate. When you just reframe it, when you come back as a ghost, who are you trying to fuck? No, come on. What would you do if you came back as a ghost?
I don't know, brother. I would actually try to play pranks on my friends just to piss them off. All of them. All of them.
Hundred percent.
If you were alive, you'd be the one that I would fuck
Oh
the
yeah,
most, to
one
be honest.
hundred fucking percent.
I would
That is
fucking kill
exactly
you.
what I would do. I would try and drive you fucking mad. And if I tell you what, I wouldn't be nice about it, like moving objects around,
Oh no,
opening a
I
door.
would go
I'd
full
be
on
like
crazy.
bitch slapping you when you're hot, when you're just about to go to sleep. You're just walking into the kitchen to make a coffee. I'll just ping you straight to the jaw.
Jesus fucking hell.
I don't give a shit, mate. I'm fucking you up.
I
It's
would know
probably
it
your
was
fault
you.
that I've died, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
so
Well, in
yeah,
that case, we
you
probably
fuck.
would be both dead,
Yeah.
and
To
we
be,
probably would
to be honest,
make everyone's life miserable.
what good friends are we? First thought, if we die and come back as a ghost, who can I fuck with?
Our
Who can I mess
friends.
with?
Let's mess with our friends.
How do
Fuck
ghosts
it.
travel? Do you reckon you like? Obviously, some of our friends live out the way, out of London, or even some abroad. How do you reckon we could travel there? Do you reckon there's like a portal?
Well, that woman was saying she was on the Mile High Club with the ghost, so I'm assuming he goes
Yeah.
by
Why did he
plane as
take the
well.
plane? Why didn't he just go and meet you there, love?
Yeah, but probably he didn't pay for the ticket, so it's fine.
Was it? He was thinking, I'll meet you there, love. But then he's like, hang on. Then he thought, wait, I can
Mile High
finally
Club.
join the Mile High Club. I'm an ancient and I'm an ancient being who knows what that is.
Yeah, planes existed in my time.
Yeah. Right, well, that's been a little bit into the paranormal,
Jesus
a little
Christ.
bit into what we believe for that kind of thing. Like I say, I think we're both intrigued by this
Yeah,
sort of type of thing. Not
yeah, we
don't
are.
necessarily believe it. We are skeptical. I'll be honest with you. After these stories, I almost 100% don't believe in all this
Yeah,
shit
me neither.
personally.
Me neither.
But open to interpretation. But let's end it there. We'll if you have listened for this long, you've suffered through the pain of all this bullshit. We
At
thank
least you
you.
suffered with us.
We thank you again. All those sponsors we shouted out earlier. Make sure you get
We're
in
here
touch. Not fucking about. We will come for you.
as ghosts if we have to.
Free the bees. Thank you for joining us, Bruno. We'll see you next time.
Hashtag free the bee nipple.
Hashtag free the bees. Yeah, so don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, give us a like. Apple, what the other one, Google, give us a like as well.
Something. A lot of things, yeah.
If you enjoyed, share it with people. Bruno's meant to do a Facebook post.
I
Still
actually did
hasn't.
the Instagram. I did the
Yeah, but
Instagram
you need to
post.
share
I
the
forgot.
group's post, the
Yeah,
Facebook page post on Facebook with people.
I
You've got
forgot.
all
I
these friends
forgot.
on Facebook. We need you to utilize them.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot that I don't have my posts from Instagram sharing on Facebook. I don't
Yeah.
have that connected, so I
All
have
right,
to do
guys.
that one. Well,
Anyway, thank
see
you again.
you
We'll
next
see you
week.
soon. Don't fuck any ghosts.
Perfect.